Hello, I'm Cindy Tonkin. Yeah, that's me. Hi, I'm from Sydney, Australia, and this is my video. When I was 7, just to give you a little bit of local colour, when I was 7, my nana took me to a brand new shopping centre that just opened. It was called Roselands. I now live about 5k from Roselands, and it's old and it's shitty and I wouldn't go there. But at the time we travelled halfway across Sydney, and it would have been 20k. It was a big journey. My grandfather Poppy, he drove, and my nana, who was at that time, she was very young as for a grandmother. She was young. She was 17 when my mum was born. My mother was 21 when I was born, so she was 38. But you know, she seemed old because I was 6 or 7. I had an uncle who's only 3 months older than me. His name's Robbie. His name was Robbie. He's now Bert, because his name was Robert, and when he grew up he called himself Bert, who knows. But anyway, Robbie and I had this delicious day where we went to the shopping centre, remembering that December in Sydney is hot, like super hot, because it's our summer, and we're not shy about any of our seasons. We're really shy about winter. So our summers are hot and sunburny, and you know, sun's cancer is a major deal for Australians, and especially for people more in the north than Sydney. But even in Sydney, we're paranoid about slip, slap, slop. Anyway, it's summer, December, so of course nothing at the Christmas stuff is real, in that our shopping centres and store celebrations, based on what I've seen of American and European television and living in Paris for a couple of years, it's essentially the whole Christmas paraphernalia. Everything's fake because it's warm. But in the world of shopping centres in December in 1970, it was fake snow, fake North Pole, fake elves, fake Santa Claus, maybe a real Santa Claus, maybe, who knows. So we had this day that was spectacular just before Christmas, got our photos taken with Santa, all that kind of stuff. And the most important thing for this, though, was that when I got back to school the following year, so we start our school year usually just after Australia Day, which is January 26th. So usually last week of January we start school, and I was asked to write a long story. I think it had to be at least 3 pages, no, handwritten, with, you know, the 2B pencil and trying not to smudge and all those things that you do when you're 6 or 7 and you've just really started school. So we had to write a long story. My story was something like 26 pages. So probably it was 500 words, but it was a lot for a 7-year-old. And my story essentially laboriously outlined every single thing that we did on this spectacular Christmas day. Well, day before Christmas. It wasn't even Christmas Eve, it was in the lead up to Christmas. Including down to detailing that we ate ski yogurt. Strawberry ski yogurt was a major treat. I'd never had yogurt at this point. Don't ask me why. We had plenty of Greeks in Australia who were making yogurt, but for whatever reason, the white, boring white bread Australians were not eating it. I do now. So yes, that was my first major kind of non-fictional story that I wrote. And it kind of gives you a sense of what the 70s was like in Australia. So Sydney is on the coast. We have a strong beach culture. We are also, we're kind of like if you had to have, in Australia there are 2 major cities that people know about. Melbourne, which is not pronounced Melbourne, but Melbourne. Melbourne and Sydney. And Melbourne's kind of the cultural hub, and Sydney's more of the, it's a bit more glitzy. We also have Brisbane in Queensland, but it's kind of like the little sister. It's a bit even more glitzy, and it's kind of retirement village, not so much, but a bit more retirement village than Sydney. Very, very hot up there, and gets worse the further up you go. But Sydney, I've been living here since I was 19. I came to university. what you call school, but we call university. And I did my degree, my first degree here, my second degree I did in Paris. So, but yeah, I've been living here. Aside from the couple of years I lived in Paris, I've been living in Sydney since I was 19. I'd love to answer any questions. I'd love to model my accent more for you, but I don't know what you need. You'll know. Let me know. Hope you have a lovely, lovely time trying to mimic my accent. Bye-bye.